Hi friends, today we are going to discuss domestic violence during pandemic, during lockdown, you can call it as, or during the COVID-19 infection. Myself, Dr. Suresh Badadmat, Professor of Psychiatry, Head of Telemedicine Center, Head of Forensic Psychiatry Services, NIMANS, Bangalore. Before I start my presentation, I would like to have a disclaimer. The discussion generated during this presentation is basically for academic purpose only. They are not the law themselves, nor a substitute for professional legal opinion. For legal opinion, please do contact an advocate, or else I also request you for search for a free legal aid clinic in district court complex. They are called as legal aid cell. What is domestic violence? Domestic violence is any behavior from a male for the purpose of which is to gain control or power over a woman or a girlfriend, wife, or a female member of the family is called as domestic violence. See, this revolves around power, gaining control over a woman. Domestic violence can be physical abuse, sexual abuse, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, or even economical abuse. These are all either can be called as an abuse or an violence. It is ubiquitous everywhere. It is like in the air. That's the way we can say. There is no country, no society is free of domestic violence against women. And it occurs in irrespective of age, religion, economic status. You can't say it occurs only in poor or in the middle class socioeconomic status. It occurs even in high society also, irrespective of education. I have clients who have done PhD and been undergoing physical violence by their spouses. Rural, urban, it doesn't matter. It can occur inside the house, outside the house, employed, unemployed. According to the various research, the employed women undergo more domestic violence than the unemployed woman. And also it is very common in an intimate long-term relationship at home. See, domestic violence, it occurs within the context of home. And we consider home is a safe. But unfortunately for women, home is not safe. According to the recent survey done by National Health Family Survey 2015 and 2016, reports of domestic violence that 30% of the women suffer from domestic violence, 30% is physical violence, 30% is by the husband, 8% sexual violence at home, and only 14% sought help to stop this domestic violence. This is unfortunate. In India, this is happening. And at the same time, what is happening across the world? Many countries have reported that domestic violence have increased by 30% once the government has announced lockdown. If we extrapolate the same data from the Western country to India, we have already have 30%. Now another 30% adding, it becomes 60%. It's a huge percentage of domestic violence. And what is the effect of this COVID-19 lockdown? Though this lockdown is able to bring down the epidemic under control, but there is a new epidemic which is lurking around, that is domestic violence against women. And this has brought in what we call it as gender inequalities and threat to the women across the world. This lockdown has destroyed or weakened the existing fragile social, NGO and peer support system to the women, because they cannot access this helpline, they cannot take this support system. And for women, more time at home means more domestic violence. See, examples of domestic violence, because many women do not understand what is domestic violence. Domestic violence is physical violence on trivial issues like slapping, kicking, shouting, jealous, suspiciousness, infidelity monitoring, monitoring cell phone, checking social media, email of the victim, no freedom of choice, what they will wear, what they will eat, what they will do, at what time they will do. That kind of what they call it as control over them. Using children to control women. This is a very common. Sexual abuse, insulting them, and also repeatedly telling them, making the victim believe they are incapable of living independent life. They repeatedly tell this, you are good for nothing. Without me, you would have been dead long back. The reasons. What are the reasons for domestic violence? in a society, it is a patriarchal society, maybe religion, maybe culture, maybe norms, controlling finances, substance use, and in the background of lockdown, stress, uncertainty, frustration, unemployment, spending more time together provokes this domestic violence. Is it justifiable? Under no circumstances, domestic violence is justifiable. For women, the lockdown has tripled their stress and the amount of work they have to do is increased and violence has increased enormously. Why women tolerate this domestic violence? This is the commonest question which the society will ask. Do you know it is many women are not aware they have been trapped in this domestic violence cycle. I'll come to this what is domestic violence cycle shortly, and many of them are not aware. Even if they are aware, they are in denial. I have clients who are working for NGOs to support women. They are not aware they are undergoing domestic violence because of various reasons, or they are in denial, family pressure, societal pressure and stigma, what society will tell, children's future, own future, economic reason, death threats by the abuser. Imagine husband, brother, they will threaten them, hoping for a change. Tomorrow may be good. He will change. That's dream. These are the various reasons they get trapped in this domestic violence. This domestic violence, this is a never-ending cycle. It starts from what we call it as the victim card. The abuser plays a victim card telling that I have come through a very, very difficult scenario. My dad used to beat me up. I've undergone sexual violence. I've been abused as a child. This is the victim card they play with the woman, and the woman falls for it. They start empathizing and sympathizing. As soon as they do it, the woman does it, they enter into the second phase that is called as honeymoon phase. The abuser they start charming them, idolizing them, they start seducing the victim, and they fell into this trap. This man is an amazing guy, and once they fall into the trap, they enter into the relationship, and now what they do is they enter into the third phase. The third phase is isolating the victim. They will cut off from the family, they are cut off from what we call it as social circle, and then the abuse starts. The abuse starts by first is testing them, by exercising control over them, by telling that what is good and what is right. They're controlling their finance, they will control how they behave, and they will not give any kind of what we call it as privacy, and they start abusing. It is physical abuse, it may be beating them up, shouting them up, economical abuse, sexual abuse, and it is for trivial reasons. And once the abuse has occurred, the abuser will start going through the reconciliation. They will say that they will start blaming the woman. Because of you, I did this. I love you so much. And they enter into an honeymoon phase. And then again, they isolate, they do it. This is a cycle they will trapped in, and many women do not know that they have been trapped in this domestic violence cycle. And this is unfortunate. They need to be aware to overcome this domestic violence. See, the domestic violence can be prevented at three levels. First, at the government level, second is at the societal level, and the third is individual level. Coming to the government, during this lockdown, the government needs to announce there are various places like hotels, maybe hostels, various supported accommodation, shared accommodation, hostels need to be made available to women who is a victim. Without this, the woman will not be able to come out of this domestic violence. The government also should make aware of what is domestic violence means. And also they should set up various counseling centers, maybe online counseling center, helpline, and also physical helplines should be available at the various pharmacies, maybe shopping complex, and they should be made what facilitatory to give complaint, to seek help. Even the WhatsApp number, and also the very essential is unemployment pension, because economic is one of the reasons many women do not come out of this domestic violence relationship. Free legal aid, prosecuting the abuser, and also the government should need to have zero tolerance to domestic violence. That is the policy we should adopt, and women empowerment is a crucial phase, or what we call it as a crucial point in overcoming domestic violence. Coming at the societal level, we need to stop stigma, discriminating. They should not call the woman, she is the woman who has left home or left the husband. and we need to reprimand the abuser, support the victim to come out of this domestic violence, facilitate the victim to take decision. And there is various ads like Ganti Bajao, and the neighbor should go out and ask what is happening in the next door if there is any violence or any help is required. Educate the female children about domestic violence. At the same time, male children need to be sensitized about these gender violence, domestic violence need to be taught at the early stage. Coming to the individual level, please do understand that is you need to take action, break the silence, seek help actively, proactively, fight back the abuser using legal system. And many other, like during this lockdown, the women can come up with various methodology like wearing bindi, wearing certain coat dress, which says that I require help from various NGOs, maybe neighbors, and also it can be a distress call. And the individual or a woman need to know and have an escape plan. Escape plan may be collecting all documents, medicines, clothes, contact numbers, charger should be kept available or also kept in a friend's house or a nearby place where that exit plan can be executed without knowing to the abuser and seeking help. And also do understand there is something called as domestic violence cycle. Do not get trapped in this cycle. This cycle starts with, I told you, it is basically starts with the playing a victim card and then isolating and then abusing. Again, same thing continues over and repeats many times. It may be many a time lifelong. And please do seek for helpline and please do contact legal aid cells. Every district court complex has this legal aid cell in India. Browse for helpline in your city. Online registration of complaints, FIR. Check whether there are many metropolitan cities do have this. Contact women's cell in your city or else various NGOs. To conclude, violence thrives only in silence. Break the silence. Make the world know about the abuser. The danger of staying in an abusive relationship is far more worse than quitting it. Thank you for patient listening. Do something to stop domestic violence.